Capsim Capstone 2025, Winning Strategy for Round 3, Studio Microphone Introduction. Hello and welcome back to our Capsim Capstone 2025 Strategy Series. In today's session, we will focus on Round 3, one of the most crucial turning points in the simulation. If you've been following the strategies we covered in Round 1 and Round 2, you should already be gaining traction with strong sales, solid margins, and steady market share growth. Now, in Round 3, we take things further. We optimize existing products, launch new ones, fine-tune marketing, and set the foundation for doubling our performance from Round 4 onwards. Let's dive right into it. Section 1, Performance Review. First, let's briefly review the performance results leading into Round 3. If you followed our differentiation strategy properly, you should now be among the top performers in both total sales and net profit. The key metrics we look at include total revenue, net profit, contribution margin, cumulative profit, market share per segment. In the example on screen, you can see that our company ranks number 1 in both total sales and profitability. This means our positioning, pricing, and forecasting are working effectively. Now let's talk about how we build upon this in Round 3. Section 2, Product Updates and New Launches. As always, the first step is updating your existing products. You should open your industry conditions report to understand segment buying criteria. Please note, do not copy my numbers directly, each game is different, and numbers will vary depending on your simulation settings, industry, and your competitor behavior. That said, here's the strategic framework. For each existing product, update performance and size scores to align with the customer preferences in your segment. Use your Excel template to project where those scores should be each round. Continue the R&D progression. For example, if in Round 2 we moved a product to 7.1 performance and 12.9 size, we now move it further, let's say to 5.9 and 7.8, again, based on your unique segment drift. Add a new product if you haven't already. By Round 3, you should have launched at least one new product in a growing or underpenetrated segment. For example, a product launched with 13.4 and 13.2 coordinates in size and performance would place it well in the traditional or low-end segment. Why is this important? Because we follow a broad differentiation strategy, we aim to compete across all segments with superior quality and presence. Adding new products early helps you double sales and profit in future rounds. Tip: always double-check that your R&D timelines do not exceed 1 year. Otherwise, your new product won't be available this round and you'll miss out on critical market share. Section 3, Pricing and Promotion Strategy. Now let's talk pricing. Your goal is to remain competitive without initiating a price war. A proven tactic is to reduce price slightly, around 50 cents, compared to the previous round. For instance, if your product sold at $33.50, drop it to $33. This helps you retain demand while maintaining strong margins. Next, set your promotion and sales budgets. For new products, allocate $1,000 each for both promo and sales. For existing products, use $1,600 to $2,000. This range is optimal for building awareness and accessibility over time. Remember, promotion and sales are cumulative. Don't reset them to zero, keep building to improve customer retention and channel visibility. Section 4, Sales Forecasting. Now we move to one of the most critical decisions in Capsim, sales forecasting. Here's how you do it. Open report number 4 from the previous round. Check unit sales, inventory levels, inventory, and actual market demand, total industry unit demand. Use the formula, projected sales equals last year's sales plus inventory adjustments plus or minus market growth. Be conservative. Use 100% of last year's total demand unless you're confident the segment will grow. In a recessionary round, as is often the case in Round 3, market demand may shrink. Therefore, avoid overestimating. You may choose to add a 10% growth buffer, but for Round 3, sticking to 100% of the previous year's demand is usually safe. Tip: avoid having leftover inventory, it ties up capital and signals poor forecasting. On the other hand, underproducing will lead to lost sales and customer dissatisfaction. Section 5. Production decisions. Once your sales forecast is set, you need to align production with it. Here's how: add your sales forecast and remaining inventory together. Adjust for desired inventory levels, usually no more than 1 to 2 weeks of sales. Increase capacity if needed. Add capacity strategically, don't overspend. Set automation levels, aim for 7 to 9 for most segments. For new products, start at 3. Increase gradually in future rounds. Let's say you forecasted 600,000 units of demand for a product. If your current capacity is only 500,000, and automation is low, you may need to add 100,000 units of capacity and increase automation. Be sure to check your financial limits before making large capital investments. Section 6. Human Resources, HR. In Round 3, you should begin investing in HR, especially if your simulation enables it. 2 key levers: training hours, start with 30 to 80 hours per worker. A good default is 50 to 80. Recruitment spend, allocate around $5,000 per new hire to attract better talent. Why HR? Because better trained and more motivated employees reduce labor costs and increase production efficiency over time. Don't skip this investment, it pays off significantly from Round 4 onwards. Section 7. Financial Decisions. Round 3 is where your financial strategy starts to shape the future. Here's what to do: issue stock, equity financing, if needed. This gives you cash without increasing interest costs. Consider issuing long-term debt, but only if you're investing in productive assets like capacity or automation. Maintain a reasonable current debt balance. Avoid emergency loans at all costs. These hurt your credit score and reduce investor confidence. A useful tactic: maintain a minimum ending cash balance of $30,000 to $50,000 to avoid emergencies. Also, pay a small dividend, just enough to show investor returns but not so much that it drains your cash reserves. Section 8. Financial Statements Review. Now, analyze your income statement and balance sheet. What to look for: contribution margin, aim for 30% to 40% per product. This shows healthy operations. Net profit, a modest 5% to 7% is acceptable at this stage, especially if you're heavily reinvesting in growth. Cumulative profit, track this as a long-term indicator of performance. Note that high promotion, sales, and R&D spending may temporarily reduce your net profit. That's normal in a growth strategy. Focus on long-term return. Section 9. Strategic Review. Let's review all Round 3 actions. White heavy checkmark: updated existing products using the industry condition report. White heavy checkmark: launched new products aligned with segment criteria. White heavy checkmark: set competitive yet profitable prices. White heavy checkmark: invested in promotion and sales to grow awareness and distribution. White heavy checkmark: forecasted sales using last round's reports and inventory logic. White heavy checkmark: aligned production, increased capacity and automation where needed. White heavy checkmark: invested in HR to boost employee performance. White heavy checkmark: managed finances using stock, debt, and dividends wisely. White heavy checkmark: avoided emergency loans and preserved cash buffers. With this full stack strategy, you're not only winning Round 3, you're preparing to dominate Rounds 4 through 8. Section 10. Final words and next steps. If executed correctly, Round 3 will end with top sales performance, growing market share, industry-leading profitability, a robust foundation for long-term growth. From Round 4 onward, you'll begin to see exponential gains, both in financial outcomes and market power. Your cumulative profit curve should rise significantly above your competitors. Monitor this on the scoreboard. If your curve flattens, revisit your production or marketing decisions. Need help? If you're unsure about your numbers or decisions, feel free to send me your company ID or screenshot. I offer free guidance for Round 1 and Round 2 to help students master the basics before they tackle the advanced rounds. You can also revisit the Round 1 and Round 2 strategy videos if you need a refresher on forecasting or R&D updates. Conclusion: that wraps up our strategy guide for Round 3 in the Capsim Capstone 2025 simulation. Remember, Capsim is not just about winning one round, it's about building long-term dominance. Thank you for watching, and I wish you continued success. If you found this helpful, feel free to share it with your classmates and subscribe to get updates on rounds 4 through 8 strategies. Fastest support TO. Get top results $9.99 for Capsim. Email behelp2002@gmail.com. Blog https://capsimguide2021.blogspot.com. Free Excel file for all 8 rounds. Download from blog or send the email. Online quick support Q&A equals WhatsApp equals https://bit.ly/3silp9u. Whole game support equals $50 for 8 rounds equals top results. Until next time, stay strategic, stay sharp, and go win that game.